Wait, Brutal Kunnin's getting a sequel? And we're getting an Ufthak Blackhawk model? Oh, shiver me timbers! We gotta do some news! All together now! WAG! Welcome back to the Red Ones Go Faster. I'm old Big Mek, and it is indeed, again, time for the news! Because there's a new work model, and we do the news every time there's a new work model. Let's get into it! And so for those of you who have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about, Black Library did a reveal show just yesterday, and Ufthak Blackhawk is indeed coming to miniature. For those of you unfamiliar, he is the main protagonist in Mike Brooks's absolutely stunning book, Brutal Kunnin, which has been out for a few years now. And I gotta tell you, this is one of the coolest orc models in a long time. You got Princess the Squig down there. You've got the warp gun thingy off the Shock Jump Dragsta that he infamously rips off in the novel. In fact, this was on Warhammer Community as a preview thing. We got just this piece of the rifle, and people were like, wait a minute, that's just a Shock Jump rifle off of a Shock Jump Dragster. We already have it. That's why, because we're getting Ufthak himself. Now, unfortunately, the rules for this are going to be Legends only, but you can totally run it as a standard war boss, because again, you've got combi weapon is now just a catch-all. He has his attack squig, and there is, of course, the ginormous Choppa right there. But yeah, what an amazing mini. What a really cool thing. And of course, they told us this as part of we're getting a sequel finally, The Big Dakka by Mike Brooks. So that is going to be super exciting. They have a little preview thing on here. They've got a special edition, which is really cool because they just did the special edition of Brutal Kunnin, which you can see right there. And they're going to do one for The Big Dakka as well. Now, I don't have these. These went for really expensive. They were over 150 teeth, if I remember correctly. But, you know, if you're a super special edition fan, you should totally pick it up. I will be getting the regular version of this book for sure. And of course, I'll be getting Ufthak as well. Honestly, I'm happy just to put him in the display case. I really am. Like, one of the coolest orc characters to come along in a long time. One of the coolest books to come along in a long time. And the fact that they are finally starting to make some of these Black Library books into characters that you can have on the tabletop is awesome. I do wish they'd give us actual rules for them, but hey, you know what? It can't all be great and gravy, but it's okay, because again, you can run him as a regular war boss, and I don't run bad wounds anyway, so I can just have Ufthak as a war boss. Alright, enough about Ufthak. Now let's talk about me, old Big Mek. So, I have my second t-shirt design up now on Teespring. You can click on the link down below to see that. It is, of course, the wonderful artwork from Belgrim that we had done with the Red Ones Go Faster on it. And it does support that artist as well, so every item sold, there will be some of the teeth going to him as well. And I hope to work with him a whole bunch in the future on more designs, more merch, more cool stuff. Because, hey, support your local artists, right? And your fellow 40K enthusiasts. Now, we have launched quite a few things besides just a new t-shirt. So the Patreon is exploding, and it's time to really start adding in perks for those that are paid patrons. So one of the first things is those new designs and our old Red Squig designs are on sale for the next week for paying patrons. So if you are a paying patron, you can get on there and you can get that discount code right away and use it on Teespring for 10% off literally everything. And I already have the kids stuff marked down like literally as low as they'll let me do it. So because man, getting stuff for your grots is hard, and it shouldn't be that much money, because when you got a bunch of them like I do, that's a lot, right? So definitely want to make sure that we are paying that forward. So again, you can do all of that on our Patreon. The other big news coming to Patreon is that we are going to start giveaways starting next year, and starting when we hit 20 paid patrons. So once I've hit at least 20 paid patrons, we'll start doing a monthly giveaway, and it's going to get bigger from there. Basically, the giveaways will get bigger and bigger and bigger as we get more and more patrons. But for the first thing, you're going to be getting some really cool stuff from the Goth Rockers, which of course is the epic metal band that does our intro song that they created just for us. Now, the other thing becoming a paid patron gets you into is our Bits Bag service. Now, this is something I talked about on a video on, hey, is this something you guys would be into? The results were overwhelmingly positive, and my inbox started getting flooded with people wanting to buy it right away. And I realized that I could either have a full-time job selling bits or I could continue to make YouTube content. So what I'm going to do is I am going to be making the curated bits bags, but they are going to be available only to paying patrons. And the reason for that is, again, I don't want this to be my full-time job. I don't want to have to scour every Warhammer place known to the universe to get enough bits to do this, because they're not just random bits. These are 100% orcified, Big Mek approved, going to be awesome for your orc army. Now, if you don't play orcs and you still want the bits, I can absolutely do that. I will custom curate you a bits collection for whatever army or armies you want. So that is an unlockable tier by joining the Patreon. The other thing that we have is not tied to that at all, and that is Twitch. That's right, old Big Mek here is coming to Twitch for a very, very specific reason. Let me go grab it. This is our new army that we are building. And yeah, I am going to be building this live on Twitch with all of you so that we can explore Beastsnaggas together and get this army built. I also have the old Beastsnagga Army set down there, which I'll be adding to it. So yeah, and an extra Mazrog Scrag bag. So we'll be able to build both Mazrog and the Beast Boss on Squigosaur. So again, I'm going to be working on this army live on Twitch. We'll have our first stream coming up this week. Start getting that rolling. So if you are interested at all in hanging out with old Big Mek and all the Mek boys, you can join us on Twitch, and that's, you know, all completely free, regular Twitch stuff. The links for all that will be down in the description below. So anyways, enough about old Big Mek. Let's talk about the rest of the Warhammer hobby. So a bunch of other channels have done their gift guide, some really cool stuff. And one thing that I absolutely want to point out is Squidmar, who is one of my favorite YouTube channels to watch and one of my favorite merch designers. Their artwork is like super awesome. I've had this shirt for years. They announced on one of their latest videos that they are doing a hefty % off. I want to say it was 20% on all of their merch with a code in that video. So if you're looking for some merch and Red Squig and old Big Mek doesn't do it for you, you should definitely go check out Squidmar. Not affiliated at all. I just think it's really cool, and it's one of my, you know, personal favorite channels to watch. So definitely wanted to bring that to you as well. And lastly, we'll finish this episode of Duh News with a good old Games Workshop sandwich, because we started with it talking about Black Library at Ufthak Blackhawk and the, of course, incredible return of that amazing character both to book and now to tabletop form. We're going to bring you some more Games Workshop news here at the end, and that is that the new Kill Team stuff finally got announced, and it is going to be up on pre-order next week. Now, not very orcish, but it is very, very, very cool, but it's also really weird. So all of the old Kill Team boxes were ginormous, and you had 2 complete Kill Teams in them, and a entire thing of terrain and a board and like the whole 9 yards. And for the first time ever, they're doing it separate. So there's going to be a Kill Team box that has the 2 Kill Teams in it, which is weird because after the launch boxes, they've been doing the Kill Teams as individual squad boxes. Like that's how you get the Orc Commandos. So just having 2 squads and like 5, and then they're not even pieces of terrain. Let's not call it terrain. They're like 5 objective markers in there with them. So you're getting the 2 squads and the 5 objective markers. And then the terrain, which is Kill Team specific terrain. It is not any of their other terrain. This is for Kill Team, is coming in its own separate box. So I don't know why they didn't put them together. I don't know if there's been like a packaging thing going on and they weren't able to like get it all in one big box, or if just the warehouse inventory has been all taken up with Leviathan and then all of the holiday battle forces, and they just didn't really have room for a bunch of really big boxes again. I'm not sure. I don't know if this is what we're getting in the future, but for now, this is what we're getting. I think that they're both really interesting this time though. Now, I've been a big fan of the Kill Team boxes. I just don't actually play Kill Team. I'm an army guy. I like big armies, a million things on the board, all happening at the same time. But I love the terrain that you get in the boxes. I love the customizable squads that you get. Obviously got the Commandos, got the Death Corps of Krieg, got the Space Marine Phobos guys. Like, really do like them. So the new box is Eldari Striking Scorpions, which I do have an Eldari army. It's Craftworld's Eldar from like 3rd edition, but I definitely want to add Striking Scorpions to it, so I'm super interested in that. And then the new Space Marine Scouts, which look amazing. The old Scouts were some of the worst models Games Workshop ever did. They all had literally the exact same G.I. Joe face on them, and they were just awful. These new ones are way, way, way better, and I would love to have Scouts in my Space Marine army, because my Space Marine army is so like infiltrator and sneaky guy, you know, focused, that the Scouts really do work well with them. So I'm really hoping to get my hands on one of those boxes. And then the terrain is really interesting. And of course, we've been doing a lot of terrain here on the channel over the last couple of weeks, and the terrain actually works with the old Mechanicus terrain. Whoop! Boom! This stuff right here that I've been showing off on the terrain. So the new terrain is more of these style of walkways, but they're all straight lines, and more of these things, so they're the same height and all that stuff. And yeah, so it will combine with all of the other Mechanicus terrain. So if you want to have a whole bunch of walkways and elevated things going on, it is definitely going to be a terrain kit worth picking up. So super interested in that one. All right, that's going to do it for this episode. I really appreciate each and every one of you. I hope to see you all over the place besides just here on YouTube, although obviously I very much appreciate you here as well. So if you like what you saw, click some buttons. If you didn't like it, click some buttons anyway. Click all the buttons. It really does help Old Big Mek and all of the other small creators out, like the Goth Rockers, like Velgarn, and everybody else that we will be working with in the future. So again, many thanks to all of you. Everything is down in the description below for information on all of it, and I hope to see you on Twitch with these boys very, very, very soon. So until next time, Wagon! Kunnin's getting a sequel? We're getting Ufthak Blackhawk? Oh, you know it's gonna